Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. This is a Three Good General show. Today, General Ravi Shankar is traveling, but the other two good generals are here, General Dushyant Singh and General Rajiv Narayanan. Generals, Namaskar and welcome to P Guru's channel. How are you, sir?
Namaskaram. Good to be back again.
Viewers, this is coming live to you from three different channels, Strategic Frontlines, Gunner Shot, as well as P Gurus. And I now request General Dushyant Singh to start the ball rolling with MS Dhoni or General Rajiv Narayanan to follow after that. General Dushyant Singh, India-EU free trade agreement, and we are also seeing some significant progress with Russia, $60 billion deal. That happened a little bit before this, and perhaps Canada also wants to come and do something. So you can see that there is a new fulcrum evolving, which is neither bending towards the United States nor bending towards China. This appears to be a new system, and it's possible that countries like Australia, New Zealand, who knows, even Japan might come on board. So I'm just putting it out there. I have no way of determining that all these are there. But I'd like you to take a look at this as a new sort of grouping, and your thoughts on it, General Dushyant Singh.
Thank you, ARG, for calling me. And I was missing last time, so I'll try to make it up for that. Basically, when I look at the whole situation today, in my opinion, the entire world order is being created by folly of a person who thought he's going to reshape the world as per his will. Unfortunately, to me, it is like the story of our mythology, where I think it was Kalidas who started cutting the branch of a tree on which he was
Right.
sitting. Right. So I think something like that is happening as far as the United States of America is concerned. Now, whatever may have been his motivations, one thing is coming out very clear, that he's accelerating the process of alternative blocks coming together. 2007 was the time when the EU deal was, brought into existence. Thereafter, it was uh, covered with dust. That file was, languishing somewhere in the ward. I mean, the cupboards of both the India as well as the EU organization. All of a sudden, in 2025, 18 years later, you have a mother of a deal on which a lot of discussion has already taken place. It is tectonic. It is 96% is absolutely zero tariffs. That's a huge jump. But we also need to see why it has happened. Some people have given me this logic that it has happened because of the economic compulsions. But I, in my opinion, while the economic factors were always there, it is the acceleration created by President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, that these deals are coming so quickly and so fast, and people are actually forgetting their minor differences which they had geopolitically. So I would put geopolitical as first finger on the new emerging alliances or blocks focused essentially on economics. So what you were saying about Russia, about the other countries going into some kind of a economic alliance is very much on the cards. Now, what is more important for us is that India is coming up with a huge opportunity. When I say huge opportunities, actually it means like we have done a deal with EU, but imagine on the 30th of January we are going to have a India Arab League meet, where the foreign ministers of 35 countries, out of which 20 have already given their confirmation, are going to come together to discuss once again the same thing. So what are the highlights of the likely implications of the India Arab deal? A, if Gaza gets resolved, the IMEC gate opens. And if the IMEC gate opens, the target of EU India deal will automatically be hastened up. The target of doubling the trade, etc., will reach much faster. Secondly, the advantage of the India Arab League, in my view, are manifold. It also helps us in geopolitically counterbalancing the various forces which are operating in this region, and I'm referring to Turkey, I'm referring to China, I'm referring to Pakistan. These are the people who will also start feeling the pressure of India reaching proactively for a change towards building a better global economic market. So I look at India Arab deal as an extension of EU FTA, or India Arab meet as an extension of the effort which we have just achieved as far as the EU FTA deal is concerned. There are big opportunities here. In my view, it's a tectonic outcome which might take place should we be able to get the Abraham Accords also somewhere on track, because UAE and Israel are by and large having a good relation. So therefore, India, UAE, and Israel, if this alliance also works out the way we were planning for it, I think the IMEC initiative is something which is going to get a big fillip. Now, the other advantage of a India Arab meet would also be internal political balancing, in the sense that India internally, politically, has been having a lot of differences as far as its other parties are concerned. Now, with this kind of a initiative, I think that will also stabilize a little bit. So we will have lesser internal opposition to whatever EU, whatever deals which the current government is making. So ratification of these deals will become that much better. I hope that the EU also ratifies the deals faster, because people are saying that it will take about a year or so to for this FTA to actually kick into motion. Even the UK deal has still not been actually ratified. It will take some time. So we have to be also realistic in our opinion. Now, why I say that Trump is actually pushing people together. In the night while the deals were being signed, he put South Korea under tariff of 25%. Now, South Korea's trade, I was just having a trade figure. By the way, these are very interesting trade figures. In 2024, Mexico has emerged as the largest trading partner of US and not Canada. Canada has been sent behind and has come to the second place. China is on the third place. Even China is sulking as far as US is concerned. India remains at the 10th place with its 129 billion or so as the Indian figures. But overall, the EU trade is about $976 billion. Now that will suffer, not initially, but over a period of time. I think that will further put pressure on the United States of America. Options for US are becoming narrower and narrower. I don't think he can achieve his aims by punishing. Punishing is only going to get the others huddled together. Punishing always leads to the people who are actually on the receiving end grouping together, ganging up together, and trying to oppose the only, I would say, superpower as of now. I think that is one issue which probably Trump has not catered for. He still thinks that he'll be able to bulldoze his way through. As far as Japan is concerned, even Japan seems to be in a similar kind of a mode. If South Korea can be levied a tariff of 25%, and Japan already had a good relations with India, so therefore, if Japan also is put through the similar kind of a tariff punishment, I don't think US will be able to sustain itself. By the way, even the defense, it came as a surprise to me when I saw that the defense trading partners of India, US is a defense trading partner with India, but guess 50% of our exports to the world, 100, we export to 100 countries. The 50% out of that goes to the United States of America. So if that gets diverted towards EU and the other countries with whom we are having the trade deals, FTA deals, then you can imagine the US will be further put under pressure. It will not be a great pressure, but yes, there will be a diversion of there will be a substantial diversion of spare parts and the subcomponents which we export to United States of America. So overall, in my opinion, अ, चले थे स्मार्ट बन करके दुनिया को कंट्रोल करने के लिए, ये पता नहीं था कि खुद हम ही कंट्रोल हो जाएंगे. So that is the way I feel the United States of America is now heading toward. I also have a feeling that he will have to, because of the internal pressures, because I was going through a number of YouTube channels in the US. There are a lot of people who are opposing his policies. His popularity ratings have come down drastically. That's again a case of worry. He's having a midterm election soon. Whether those midterm elections he will emerge as a winner or not, he's on a wafer thin majority as of today. Even the Republicans are going against him. So overall, in my opinion, I think US will do a taco. When it does, how it does, we don't know, but it will definitely have to eat its own word. For India, I would have only one thing to say: have have caution and don't get into euphoria, because all these deals ultimately can turn on the head should the US pipe down. So they, because they are natural partners, EU and transatlantic cooperation and partnership is very natural. It comes to them as born alliances, I would put it that way. So therefore, we should approach the whole thing with caution. We should continue to diversify with other countries as much as possible, whether it is with New Zealand. We've already signed a deal with New Zealand, or Australia, or ASEAN. It's a good thing that India has pivoted to ASEAN through that ATIGA agreement, where we are trying to shift the manufacturing linkage of ours with ASEAN rather than with China, and we taking out our human resource. Critical in this is developing our human resource, which is the backbone of services sector. Because every deal we are saying that we will be providing the services, we will be providing the human resource for in these countries. So for that, our human resource has to be very well crafted. So I'll stop here to say that there is optimism, there is opportunity, and it's for India to grab it with both the hands and keep moving forward. Let him annoy his allies and partners. They are there for us to pick them.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, General Dushyant Singh. General Rajiv, while we also talk about this, maybe we can touch upon the latest situation in China, because Keir Starmer is meeting Xi Jinping. That picture has
Yeah.
come out. So some clarity seems to be appearing there, emerging there. But first, let's talk about this. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, see, information coming from China is that Beijing is surrounded. The divisions aligned with Changyujia, that is the anti-Xi Jinping faction, they have surrounded Beijing. They must be waiting out of deference, because they also just don't open up. They also keep a track, and what happens depends on how the anti-Xi Jinping faction within the CPC takes it forward. Otherwise, the anti-Xi Jinping faction of PLA is ready to eliminate Xi Jinping. It's gone down to that level. Eliminate Xi Jinping. So all is not hunky-dory in China. Oh, he may talk to Keith Starmer. I was quite surprised that he's going there. Others are also planned to go there. How much value does it have? Because you really don't know by the end of the year who will be the leader. Will he continue? He could. Would somebody else come? We really don't know what will happen there. That said, the people who are going there and who are going to meet the leaders in China, when you look at and compare with specifically the EU deal that has taken place, EU deal is at a totally different level. And the EU has not gone to China. And you can imagine 27 billion trillion is the GDP, and around 2 billion people, and they're talking of 11 billion market annual, which will be there. The people who have seen it in the treaty which has been finalized has not yet been signed. It has been agreed by the leaders that this will be the format. Now the legal team is going through it. Later part of this year is when it will be signed, And the earliest they are expecting the ratification by India and the 27 parliaments in Europe is early next year. So there is a lot of diplomatic gymnastics that we'll have to do, because the Americans are not going to sit tight. The Central European and the East European countries are the weak link. They provide the migrant labor. The industrialized portion is old Western Europe. Most of the Central and Eastern European countries who have joined the EU post the fall of the Warsaw Pact are not that high in industrial development. And one of the narratives is already starting from US, where is that the Indian workers will take their jobs. It has to come. It will come. So the pressure will always come on the Central and Eastern European countries to break somebody and make sure that it doesn't get ratified by the parliament. So that pressure will come, and that is what I'm saying, that there's a lot of diplomatics that our people have to still do to make sure that everybody is on board. This deal actually runs far deeper. I've spoken about it a couple of times earlier. There are 2-3 things that what is America scared of at the moment, and what was Trump and his team attempting. He had 2 ways to go forward, like I have mentioned earlier in that mandate for the President 2025, Heritage Foundation had given 2 routes. One, Kent Lastman, which he said go down the free trade route. A win-win situation, negotiate, go down the free trade route. The other, Peter Navarro stroke Retardo, tariff them, coerce them to come onto the table to do a deal which US will dictate. He's chosen that path. See, our deal with EU started in 2007, collapsed in 2013. US still thought that India is still in 2018 mode. When they told us to stop buying oil from Iran, Iran was our largest supplier, we made it zero. And that is when you decided you need to diversify, have alternates, so that you can hedge and US cannot have any handle to twist your arm. And come 2025, in fact 22, when they said stop Russian oil, you didn't. They could do nothing. The number 2 is, like we have discussed earlier, the weaponizing of the dollar and SWIFT, alternatives. And what has gained currency? China wanted to make yuan the fiat currency. It didn't work out. You went the local currency way. And that has got a lot of traction. Similarly, the Vostro account, where the RBI has opened up that happened in August last year, that you can, you holding the Vostro account in India, you can invest in Indian. Yeah.
Sir, about 120 accounts have been approved, sir. 120.
156.
156. It's going up. Yeah.
Of 33 countries. And
yes,
others are smaller countries, the major ones: Germany, Israel, New Zealand, Russia, Singapore, UAE, and France. So if Germany and France, the 2 pillars of EU, have come, why the Americans are scared? Once the trade deal happens, the other countries will also start this Vostro account in India. For France and others, you have called it the special Vostro rupee account. They are allowed by the RBI guidelines to invest in your mutual funds and government bonds and other things. Now, do you realize you're not dependent now for your development on FDI?
Yeah.
So with FDI, no other country can squeeze you that I will take out the FDI. Your own money is available, which is circulated. They earn the money, and whatever they want to take out is made easier through UPI. And the bridge pay, which was coming, is it's been made more, I would say, multi-currency, because it is the multi-currency. The Russian equivalent of SWIFT, the Chinese equivalent of SWIFT, and ours is UPI, not SWIFT. All get integrated, and the bilateral deals and other things will be done in local currency. He'll be most worried not only of EU, because the EU trade is in euros and rupees. It's not in dollars. This EU trade deal is a euro and rupees. So he is most worried that how does he live on debt? He's so used to living on debt. Their economists are, how do you live within your means? How do you cater for it? There's nobody ready to buy your treasury bonds, so you cannot outsource your debt. That gets hit. His main thrust was to take control of the Crown Council of the deep state and sit as the boss. Perpetuity for life. That from the background, me and my family, we will also be like the old Rajwadas of Europe in control. It didn't work out. So what did he do? Board of Peace for Gaza became Board of Peace for any global conflict, and he's the president for life. And with 20 countries sitting there, no country of note has joined it. He is having a major issue today that they're still not realizing why. There is a reason. While at the national level, his popularity rating is below 40% today, somewhere between 38 and 40%. That doesn't worry him, because in the Republican Party itself, yes, it has fallen from 90% to he still has 75 to 80% acceptance level. So he still controls the Republican Party. And when you break it down within the Republicans to MAGA and non-MAGA acceptance level is still 69%. MAGA, of course, is above 80%, well above 80%. And the Republican National Conference is conducting their entire election campaign with Donald Trump as his face. That's already been decided. So good luck to them. So when all this is happening, I don't see him pulling back. Now, Canada is also coming. France is due. Lula is going to come. Brazil. And Canada is also coming. And we are having the Arab League foreign ministers meeting here. And quite a lot of those countries are part of OPEC. That means other worry. See, the weakest link there today, surprise, surprise, is Saudi Arabia. He's run out of money. He squandered his money in that 180-mile single long building sort of a city that he was making, Neom. Nothing happened there. There's no return on investment. There's no ROI coming from there. He's run out of money. He's slowed down there. He is worried. He is the weak link in the Arab. The Americans can pressure him because his holdings are in US Treasury. And as far as the IMEC is concerned, even if it doesn't go through the Persian Gulf, the Red Sea, along with Israel and UAE, you have secured your Red Sea corridor. So for the European, it can go through the Red Sea corridor.
Absolutely. Israel and UAE are critical in this.
Yes. So they are both sitting in Eritrea. They are sitting in Somaliland. Israel has recognized, and surprise, surprise, UAE officially has not recognized them, but they recognize their passport and they give them separate visa for Somaliland people, and they don't permit people from Somalia to come into UAE. It's denied. But they give visa to people from Somaliland to come, and Somaliland passport is acceptable there, which is then indirectly saying that they recognize Somaliland as a separate country. And they look upon it because it's stable. Unlike Somalia, which is highly unstable, Somaliland is stable. So the whole route is covered. And from there, you can go into Greece, you can go into Europe, and you can go into Haifa or Israel. All the link is through. And as far as UAE is concerned, for our link to UAE, he'll give you Fujairah. Fujairah is outside the Straits of Hormuz. Fujairah is the easternmost emirate, which has its borders with Oman. It's outside the Straits of Hormuz. So there are issues. Yes, if the American armadas are sitting there to go through that, get your commercial shipping through that is an issue. So I'm looking forward to Canada, primarily because this becomes an alternate energy source. He's coming specifically for energy. Number
Uranium.
one is uranium. He doesn't want to send any uranium to USA. He wants to give it to you. Number two, bulk of his oil and gas, he wants to give it to you. Apart from that is the rare earth and minerals that he can give you. Okay. So at least if you have that, you have diversified, then that is an alternate you can have if your oil links to Iraq and Saudi Arabia and UAE get disrupted. When he's going to strike, you really don't know. He has threatened Iran. He tried to say back channel talks. Iran has said no back channel talks. And he has said everything is on the table. Come for the nuclear deal. They have said no. With such pressure, with a gun to the temple, we are not coming. So suddenly he finds that you have a deal with EU. You're getting a deal with Canada. You have a deal with Russia. It's a 10-year oil deal. So he's creating other companies, multiple companies. So you might see a little decline in the oil coming in from Russia, maybe this month. But by next month, you would have created a whole lot of different oil companies. They will start sending you the oil. They are not sanctioned. So every time we keep sanctioning, there will be new companies, as I see, which will be coming up in Russia till he gets tired. You can make hundreds and hundreds of companies. It doesn't matter. It's just one address you need to have, and you can register your companies, and you'll have your shell companies available. In the background, the main companies are working. The other smaller countries and others like France is also going, Canada is gone, UK is gone, UAE will also be going to talk to China. So the others at a slightly lower level are also talking to China. So you suddenly see this 1/4 of the global economy have joined together. And if you read the in between the lines, it appears that beyond 2030 or 2034 or 2037, they are looking at free movement of people like Schengen from India to EU, which is not available. And now the companies there, as the government has not threatened, there are companies there who have treasury bonds of the US, and they have threatened that if he tries to do anything, they're going to dump all their treasury bonds.
I think they've already done it. I think they've already done some
100
amount.
million. German companies have done about 100 million. And I think Sweden have done about 8 million. Now, 100 and 108 million is chillers.
What I'm saying, it's a pointer. It's a pointer.
Yeah, it's a pointer. That's the start. They've done that, and then they have threatened that you push us on Greenland, we are going to dump everything, and then he'll have a big problem. So he's really caught now. He knows that what he's doing. That's why it may be because of that he's trying to weigh his options. He has not made any comment on Truth Social on the EU deal.
Yeah,
he left it to Besant to do whatever.
Correct.
Like middle of the night, he got up and became angry with South Korea that their parliament was not passing the ratifying the deal, and he increased from 15 to 25%. Right? But the other shock he would have got, that they opened slightly low, the stock market. By evening, they were almost 500% up, which tells you that the companies there, the business people are thinking that they will do better without USA. They may think that, but there is an issue as far as South Korea is concerned. They cannot do without the cover of the US. They need it for support against North Korea. And but what do they do for the business? You can't anger him. So that is the catch-22. He is there. Japan is not there in that as yet.
Yeah,
That is
he's
one.
not there. Yeah, he's not there.
Now, the second part, which is a very major issue which is coming out, EU is leaning away from the US. Some of it, Dushyant had mentioned about 50% of our defense exports and subsystems and systems going to the US for their defense industry. The EU is doing the deal with you. And today, Netanyahu has made an open statement that he would like to do the defense deals with India, making in India for India and for Israel. And he wants to go away from his dependency openly, or go away from his dependency on US. Now, suddenly, like, just imagine, there are no ancillaries available for these systems and subsystems, I'm sure, in the US. That's why it is coming from India. And if India diverts it and goes towards to provide these ancillary support and other things to the EU and Israel, where does that leave US? It's a triple whammy. His dollar goes, his business goes, his defense industry has a tough time. And I think the pushback from the industry is coming on him. And that may be the reason he's quiet and he's letting Besant do the talking. Lutnick is quiet. The champion who said in August that within 3 months Modi will come on his knees begging for forgiveness. He's quiet. Even Navarro, for a number of months, he is out. He is not making any statements.
Navarro is out of the picture.
Yes. Only Lutnick and Besant were doing with this EU deal. Only Besant is making the statement, which tells you that they have issues because you have increased quietly the tariff on the yellow peas and chickpeas and others which affects directly North Dakota and Montana. And the threat hangs in balance on California and other southern states on fruits and dry fruits. And that is killing. And the pushback is coming from the business that start. They are telling Trump, don't think Modi is going to call you. Please call Modi and talk to him. And that is why you find there is by the way, there is a delegation from the Senate which is in India today. They're meeting our foreign minister. Senate Committee on Foreign Relations is in India, which tells you that the Congress and the Senate is worried which way Trump and his team are taking US. So I'll stop here. You're muted, sir.
Thank you, General Rajiv. General Dushyant, we noticed that at the Republic Day parade, that there was a fairly senior Department of Defense official who wanted to meet with the political, family of India, like whether it is MEA or the Prime Minister, and nobody was giving him the time of the day. The only thing he could do was to go to Republic Day celebrations and take some pictures. This is what I'm hearing. You are a Delhi bhai. Maybe you can tell us what really happened.
No, actually, I am not privy to such a information. I don't think. I think this must be more of a rumor mills which are going around.
I see.
Let's not see. I'll tell you the actual relationship as far as the defense is concerned. There are only two departments which, in my opinion, are still hanging on, tagging along well, are the defense departments of both sides, whether it is the MOD of India or whether it is the now Department of War or Secretary of War, whatever you want to call it. So they are still trying to salvage, let me tell you. And the reason for that is interdependency. 50% And what is this 50% export? It's aerospace. And what is America's today's, if you want to really say the actual power, is the aerospace. That's where they make the difference between others and the Americans. So, in my opinion, Department of Defense knows about it. That look, we should not unsettle our boat. Let's carry on the way we are carrying on. There was an exercise which was to be held in November 2025. That has not been cancelled. That has been postponed, and I believe it is going to take place in February 26. So they are trying their level best to push around, despite the political kind of a uh, stance taken by the US. So that we should, I think, just uh, put it down as a some kind of a mischief mongerer who has tried to spread this particular news.
To underline what he said, sir, two things have happened. They are upgrading our C-130Js with the latest avionics. That deal is through. And the latest drone that they have made, the VTOL EW drone, which is being effectively used by Ukraine, that is being bought by us. So that contract is also being signed.
So we are below the curtain doing things.
Yes, quietly that is being done. Yes, the additional C-130s which were supposed to be there have not been done because you prefer to merge it with the medium transport aircraft, because that is also a medium transport aircraft. Now, who wins it, I really don't know. It's open because you are used to working with the C series of the Americans, and latest is the C-95 of the Airbus. So you have C-5s, you have C-17s, and you have C-130s, and they have done a wonderful job.
Correct.
They're very good.
We are going in for a number of options. Adani has, I think, got a contract for Embraer. So I think our aerospace is moving in the right direction. So
the biggest worry would more be about Boeing and Lockheed Martin, because there are a lot of their subsystems and systems which get made in India, which goes to them.
Bangalore, go to Bangalore. See the kind of
Bangalore and even Hyderabad. Bangalore and Hyderabad, they are massive hubs.
Dynamics.
That gets diverted. That I'm sure this Senate department would have come. They must have come for that assurance also, that you do what you want to do with EU, but please don't divert this away. So otherwise, if you just imagine if your Northrop Grumman, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, these start taking a hit,
they'll have a problem. They'll have a problem. Dynamics actually bought a company in the UK which was supplying to Boeing, lock, stock, barrel. That company still functions in UK, but it is under the Dynamics company of India in Bangalore.
You would also know, sir, you don't get these special people who specialize in these things so easily. It doesn't come so easily. And to get a fresh lot of ancillaries who are going to give you, tough, not easy. I'm sure the Senate department team which has come here would have come for this one. And nothing surprising. They've just come within 2 days after the EU deal has been cleared, and they've landed. They're meeting with.
There are multiple delegations. Russian delegation coming soon. Australian delegation.
Su-57. There are more talks going for Su-57.
So as far as defense is concerned, India is on full throttle.
Thank you, gentlemen. And if you don't mind, shall we take some questions now? Because we have a lot of questions.
Before that, I'll just give one thing, which I've always maintained. This is at geopolitical, geoeconomic, and the geostrategic level. You never burn your bridges with people unless you face up with a country like Pakistan. You should never burn your bridges. So despite what Trump and his team are doing, your back channel through to US Incorporation, the others, and your Wall Street, don't burn the bridges from it. That is all I say.
Thank you, sir. Let's take some questions. Let's start with General Dushyant. happy with EU-India FTA. However, I'm concerned that EU is doing an FTA with China, just like the British PM went to China now for business deals.
Look,
Have not.
I don't think the FTA is going to happen in a hurry. In fact, that was one of the points which I gave in my initial brief, that it has come as an opportunity for India, that the internal struggles which are going on in China have become public now. Now even the AI has started talking about it. Earlier, the AI would give you a very roundabout answer. No, no, everything is fine. C is in control, etc. So somewhere every department of department of other countries have picked up this issue. I think they'll be very cautious before signing any FTA with China or any deal, concrete deal. Of course, normal trade would go along, but I don't think there'll be a very positive EU India type of a deal.
Next question. This is for you, General Rajiv. Your view on the demographic re-engineering of Europe, is it purely due to their poor policies or something sinister by the Gehra Raj?
Deep state had nothing to do with it. These were the woke governments which were there. People were screaming. You see, okay, you're getting refugees. You didn't even think it natural to find that in Islam, a man is allowed 4 wives.
Yeah.
And here, not even coming with his wife, or maybe just one odd woman are coming. Bulk were coming were male. There were hardly any young girls who were coming in. The antenna should have been up. That didn't happen. And now they are paying the price. There are now people openly saying, there are videos available where the mullahs there are preaching that if you count the complete Europe, their population is the maximum there, and we should make it an Islamic Europe, and it will be the largest Islamic country. This is the chatter which is going on.
It's already there. They're turning green most of the places. I would like to just add here one thing in our context. This not many people know about it. In the JNK in 1989, when these elections were lost, much before that, there was a concentrated effort made by our Western neighbor, so-called Pakistan, by sending people in JNK who were mullahs, who were Maulvis, and infiltrating into every masjid of Srinagar. That is how the radicalization started, and the Sufi culture of theirs got converted. A similar kind of an approach is here.
See, I always maintain, to add to what he says, the first person you got to target to convert is the teacher. Once the teacher has been converted, now you send him into all your schools and whichever place it is. Thank you. The students who come out of there are converted students. Try as you much, you can do nothing about it. So that is why in our multiple talks I have said that you have to revamp your education system. That is how all this happens. Radicalization starts from madrasas and masjids. And all these people have got radicalized and come there, and that is what they will teach. The ditto has happened. You can see it panning out and happening in Europe. And it is slowly started in US also. So while the manner in which the ICE is doing is up for debate and questionable, they're being too aggressive. But the overall plan to remove these people is not wrong. It is how it is being implemented is the problem.
Next question, please. Thank you, Bhaskar, for becoming YouTube member. Srinivas wants to know, with these deals, how are the common citizens benefited? General Dushyant.
Well, the things will become cheaper. If you have an ambition of buying a Volkswagen, go ahead, buy it. It will be well within your reach. And for Volkswagen, which was closing its shop in Europe or in Germany, it has now got a fresh life, or a fresh breath of life to reopen its factories in India. That's it. There will be people who will be
Mercedes A, B,
they were all
series,
closing.
B series. They'll all become valid.
Akash wants to know, this is for General Rajiv, it is plausible that Europe and its geographical components are the deep state. It is probable that there is a loss of command and control in the existing structure of administration. It is possible there is a realignment with this purported linking up with Bharat as a new lieutenant in their scheme of things. Your views. General Rajiv.
Okay. Now, you have to understand the structure of the deep state. Now, deep state is being thrown about left, right, and center. I was one of the pioneers who started this. You have to understand the deep state is not a monolith body. There is a crown council, which is the old royalties of Europe. And in the 50s, they had brought in the old family MNCs from US, because the US, without US, they wouldn't have been able to survive. Under them is their aristocrats. So that is called the committee. Below that comes the round table, where broad policies are given. Their aim is that the money that they control, which is run by about 12 to 15 hedge funds, the top three are the BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. At last count, when I last assessed it in early 2024, it was around 450 to 500 trillion dollars. That's the kind of money they control. Rothschild, the biggest financer of Europe, and Rockefeller, the biggest financer in US, right? So it is about 5 times, 4.5 to 5 times the global GDP, if you please. 100 trillion was the global GDP. So let's be clear, they are separate. The governments are separate. They have nothing to do with the government. At that point in time, the leftist agenda took strength in Europe and US. China came into the fold. They were using radical Islam to counter the Soviet Union. So George Soros and his ilk teamed up with China and the radical Islam. Where the Crown Council and committee became angry was when, towards the later part, that is around 2018, 2019 onwards, China started talking of a new global order under it, Tianxia, that they would control. That means they would throw out the Crown Council. And then towards 21, 22 started the concept of a global ummah in the radical Islam. Means they will throw out the Crown Council. And that is when George Bush started fading out, and he had to come out in the open. Otherwise, everything he was doing from the background when he used to do the regime change. 2024 elections, he came out in the open to say 1 billion he is putting in to make sure that the NDA and BJP government doesn't come to power. Never done before. 2024 was, you're right, the deals were being spoken of during the Mukesh Ambani's youngest son's pre-wedding nuptials and wedding nuptials, starting from March 2024 till July 2024. That took place. Yes, it took place. Ambani was there. They were targeting Adani. Ambani was there for his inauguration. Ambani, Adani have always been in Davos. Did you notice them this time? Because they've gone bigger than Davos. None of the wokes were allowed to speak. Karl Schwab, who was the most woke in WEF, he used to come, though he stepped down in 2017. This time he was not invited. NVIDIA head, Jansen Huang, he took his place. So now there is a shift. They want to shift. How can you shift so easily? It's going to take you at least 10 years. None of these people will go down without a fight. Whether it's a sinking China, whether US, let us be clear, the kind of clout US still has across the globe, no other country has. The kind of people and reach that he has within each country, no country has. To some extent, China has in its neighborhood. It has been trying to create in other areas. So if you think USA will sit down and keep quiet, why did I say that till the deal is passed, there is a huge diplomatic battle that you got to win? It's not going to be easy. These coming 2 years and another 7, 8 years. Why will a person who's controlling, like George Soros and his gang was controlling the globe, doing regime changes all over, why will they roll over? They also have enough money. They are fine. They may not have as much money as the royalties have, but I'm sure they have about 10-15 trillion dollars, which is more than enough for them. So realignment is not going to happen in a hurry. Where does Bharat fit in? Please remember, ये सफेद चमड़े वाले हैं, pardon my language. They look down upon the colored people. When you look at the royalty, they will feel that yesterday's slave is going to come and sit with me. So it will take time, and over a period of time, you will realize. The first indicator came, like I said, in this Davos. Ambani was not there, neither was Adani there. Nor was there any rep there, nor was there pavilion there. So these are indicators. Nobody will tell you. So it will take time. You're not going to be a lieutenant. No. Who comes in the round table, we don't know. The round table is the lieutenant.
Thank you, sir. Patiala Pegs wants to know, General Dushyant, some say that if yen increases versus dollar, silver and gold will crash. It's a devalued yen that's propping up precious metals. Your opinion, please. I would like General Rajiv to also weigh in.
Yeah, I see. I do not have a very economic background on this, but what I can just say is that silver has risen up more because of its usage in the defense equipment. That has actually propped up the prices of silver today, and China has put a restriction on the export of embargo on the silver. That is the primary reason. I don't think yen getting devalued or something like that is going to really make a difference to the prices of the silver unless China lifts the ban or embargo.
I will only say that I have seen this also on YouTube. I only understand basic economics, demand and supply.
Yeah.
If the demand is more, supply is less, the cost shoots up. Most of the countries are dumping the treasury and buying gold, so that they can link their currency with the gold and there is some stability. So obviously price of gold has shot up. India and China have been buying and now they're not planning to sell. Last which India bought was 2,700 tons of silver, if you please. Okay, you are holding the largest amount of silver in the world. So there is a need for silver and they are looking at linking it. Pardon?
That is officially.
Yes, officially. No, as far as gold is concerned, officially also whatever you may have, unofficially what all the families and ladies have, you have the largest, almost about
in the world.
Four times what US has.
Yes, it's the largest in the world.
About 30-some thousand tons of gold is what we hold. Similarly, silver, this is official, I'm saying. Unofficially also, there's a whole lot of silver in private houses and everywhere. In every house, puja ka thali is of silver and all things are silver. There's plenty of silver. I'm talking of official holdings. So, how do you link any currency to gold? It may have been a coincidence once or twice. It may have happened. So people have linked it together.
Unless Ayarji has some point. Unless Shri Ayar has some point on it.
No, sir, very interesting things going on. I think India has stopped buying gold. So I'm curious as to why India has stopped buying gold. I think last month they said we are not. Sir?
Availability.
Oh, okay.
That is how Switzerland has opened up their mines and they have started making their gold ingots. No? So once they have made adequate quantity, then they can sell.
Thank you so much. Let's go to the next.
You have also plan to reopen your Kolar gold fields. Availability. Yes. Everybody in the world is buying in lieu of the dollar. So
true.
Availability will not be there. That's how it is touching 1.44 lakh or something.
Yeah, amazing.
Thank you, Akshay Iyer. The question is to you, General Rajiv. Is Zhang Yuzia dead? How
there were reports which came, she has been killed. Somebody said Chang Yuzia has been killed. Some say Hu Jintao has been killed. These are reports. One thing is there. Officially, they have confirmed that he was arrested and that came out very fast.
Yeah.
Normally, it takes about 3-4 months before they accept that something is there. This has come very fast. Means there was something which he was doing. All this about leaks to CIA and all, that's all gaff. That's all gaff. They will never get the proof. You won't have. But some say he tried a coup, and that she tried a coup, and there was a counter coup, and there is chaos going on inside out there.
I'm going to put this question to General Rajiv. The next one will come to you because it's addressed to you, General Dushyant. Rajiv ji, do you think that EU is trying to repackage globalism because President Trump has broken their gravy train?
See, I wrote a paper on this as far back as 93, 94, when I was doing my second staff college in Bangladesh. It was called Balance of Economic Power. Globalization was just coming out. And the thrust of my paper, which was based on a lot of experts from the US and the West, was that the globalization was to capture the market of the global South. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. On the alternate, what happened was that the MNCs became greedy. Cost of labor was less out there. So the amount of profits that they could make would be enormous. And that was the reason why from the 70s onwards, they started outsourcing their industries to other countries. Initially, it went to the West, but bulk of it came to the Asian tigers. And of course, subsequently was China. China gobbled up everything. It is the profits that were being made. Now Trump wants to make a MAGA. MAGA, you can't do it in 4 years. It will take you anything up to 10 to 12 years before you can start doing anything in your country because the skill is not available. Now he wants to break the gravy train. He wants to break the gravy train and do what? How? See, oil, dollar, anyone doing other than the dollar, smaller countries, independent, he is targeted. Starting with Saddam Hussein, you go to Muammar Gaddafi, and now you come to our man Hugo Chavez. Right? Today, more than 120 countries are buying, at least the bigger countries today, India, Russia, China, you're buying oil in your own currency. Now, EU has signed that he is going to do the trade and anything oil and gas that he is going to buy is going to do it in euros. Whom all is going to Russia, US going to fight? What he has broken is not the gravy train. What he has broken is trust. Trust. And that is why I keep saying, I don't know how long I'm surprised he still has so much of support within the Republican. The kind of damage he will do, the next 2 tenures of whoever the president or two presidents are going to be, it will take them that much of time to repair the damage, to get the trust back. Who's going to trust? How are you going to trust anybody? Like, just imagine you signed a deal with South Korea for 15% and suddenly there is a delay in ratification and you say it is increased by 10% to 25%. You violated a treaty, then who's going to come to you for it? So it is not a repackaged globalism. Let us be very clear. The kind of development and industrialization that has taken place in the world today, no country is sovereign. There is interdependency. If any country says that he can do everything himself, I'm sorry. You're interdependent. Interdependent is the crux of globalization. So there is nothing called repackaging. This is the narrative which Besant is trying to push, that you're repackaging globalization. What do you mean repackaging globalization? This is globalization. I have something.
Thank you, sir.
I will give you. You have something which I don't have. I can't have. I will take it from you. Thank you.
General Dushyant, this is for you, sir. Is the CIA in line with Trump or are they working at cross purposes?
You see, the CIA was not in sync with Trump even during the Trump 1.0. So in Trump 2.0, they have been trying to restructure the CIA and get it in line with the policies of Trump. So that's how the CIA director John Radcliffe was appointed. They're focused on Western Hemisphere. They are doing more covert operations as per the directions of the Trump administration. So it's a work in progress. He's trying to align the CIA with the Trump and with policies of Trump. I'll leave it at that.
Next question to General Rajiv. Sir, will EU expect India to broker peace deal between Russia and Ukraine with this FTA deal?
I am hoping, because initial talk which had taken place, they had made a mention about that. So, can be done.
Next one, please. General Dushyant. Should we call the game in China as a musical chair for power? Your thoughts, sir.
See, we have had enough discussion on the Chinese way of behaving. We had a good program on three good generals only few days back. I think it was on
Right.
Tuesday or something. Yeah, Sunday or Monday.
Right.
Uh, we
Right.
discussed this threadbare.
Right
In my
there.
opinion, yeah, in my opinion, it's an internal power struggle which is very common to the Chinese character, and it will take some time before things will stabilize. Maybe years, because it's the whole system which was put into place by Deng Xiaoping that has been shattered by Xi Jinping. Now, for another system to get into place will take that much time. There will be short changes. There may be short presidents and chairman, CMC or general secretary, etc. But in my opinion, wait and watch till the 27th Congress. I think 27th
21st Congress.
21st
Scheduled
Congress.
for 2027. They were
Yeah,
chatter ki 2026. I really don't know kab hoga. Just to
yeah,
add to that, sir, it took
yeah.
Xi Jinping 10 years to break what Deng Xiaoping had made. Let's
Correct.
be clear. It took him 10 years to break it. Now they are fighting to get that back. Your guess is as good as mine. Firstly, who comes back to power? Now,
Yeah.
if Xi Jinping retains his power, he wins and he retains his power, then the same process will start. If somebody else comes, then he has to start creating those structures again.
Yeah.
As the general said, it's going to take time.
Next question. This is to you, General Rajiv. If the India-Europe FTA is not ratified by the European Parliament, will it not be back to square one for us? What leverage will we then have with USA?
No, you're not depending only on them, no? You're going ahead with your deals in Africa, you're going ahead with your deals in Latin America, multiple countries. So if you can't get there, you get multiple markets at other places. Like I said earlier also in one of my talks, if I'm selling 100, let's say any item, hypothetically, I'm saying quantity 100 is going there. Now you are having issues with them. I may get a market which can diffuse the 100 within that in multiple countries. If that doesn't come through, what stops me in doing a deal with 10 countries where 10 items can go? My 100 items have got the market now. Look at it from that point of view. And that is what you will notice, the diversification is going on. The government is not sitting on their butt and talking. Now you have Canada also, which has come in. You have UAE, which has come in. You have independently, France and Germany have done the deal with you. By the way, Europe has a deal. Australia, you have deal. New Zealand, you have deal. African countries, you are getting the deal. Mercosur deal, you have already done. The Mercosur deal, which the EU has done, that is coming under flack out there because they have opened up their agriculture and dairy. You have not opened up your agriculture and dairy. You have done the Mercosur deal. Brazilian president is coming here. You are doing the deals with Argentina and others also. So you have multiple options. You're going to have your deal with ASEAN also. So equivalent amount of market, if you have multiple options, that is what you're looking at to hedge, not depend just on this. So when the other side also gets to know that they will be the loser and you're not going to be dependent only on the EU, our diplomats would have won half the battle.
Next question is to General Rajiv. The question is, what if it turns out that the present coldness between India and US is entirely due to Trump's ego? How are the Americans going to react? They're already reacting.
Is there any doubt that because of his and his team's ego? There is no doubt. The American people also know it. There is no doubt. The rumbling has already started.
Next question, please. And this is the last question, thought provocateur. Thank you so much. General Dushyant, India-EU deal secret Santa taco hai to mumkin hai.
We already spoken about it, so we don't have to say anything.
Yes.
I started with
Yes.
this thing that he's cutting the same branch on which he's sitting. So that's it.
Right, right, right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, and looking forward to seeing both of you next week along with General Shankar. Once again, like, share, and subscribe to wherever you are watching it from, and we will see you again very soon, sir. Namaskar.
One last line I would say, that just don't think that just because you have a deal with EU, you're not going to have trade with others. And
Yeah.
number two, if you get a deal with the US also, they do a taco and get the deal with the US, you have the range, scope, depth, and everything to cater for all the markets.
Yeah, very true,
Absolutely.
very true. Thank you, sir. Namaskar.
Namaskar.